everyone. I've been doing requests like for a couple of weeks, and today I felt like doing something on my own because I've been completing requests. I still have like, I don't know, 15 to 16 requests on. So today I'm going to be doing something on my own while I work on those requests. Okay, so let's start. Picked out a bunch of colors because I was going for a full-on castle theme. So I'm going for all the dark colors as possible. She's gonna be brown, green, golden, and black. And we'll be using a bit of yellow too, just for the effects. Okay, these are gonna be all the colors we're gonna be using. Then in the markers, I picked out these. So I picked out black, I picked out lime green, I picked out fruit pink, and I did walnut. So these are all the markers we're going to be using. And then I also have the white alcohol markers. Okay. This is what we're going to be using. We're also going to be using this green pen and a green highlighter. Oh, hi, it's 2 people watching. And then we also have a bunch of more green shades here. So here, one of the green colors. And we have 2 more shades. So we're grabbing all the greens we can. So much of it more. I'm gonna got a high information X factor. So I also have these markers. We have like a bunch of greens in here. Let's see. We have dark green. We have forest green. And then we also have, this is gray. And, okay, let's grab yellow. Hi, Z. Thank you. Information X Factor. We're gonna grab some glitter yellow. Okay. And what else are we? Okay, yeah. Brown, obviously. We're grabbing some more browns and skin color. But that's it. That's all the colors we'll be using. Hi, K-pop Demon Hunters. Welcome back. Uh, Alright. Oh, hi. 8 people watching. So we are going for a full-on green theme. Hi. 17 people watching. So we're going for a full-on green theme castle drawing. Still have like a bunch of requests left. I've been doing requests for like past 2 weeks straight on live. So I thought maybe let's just take a break from the request. So yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna start coloring. I'm just sorting out all the colors I need so I know what colors I'll be using. So we have markers. We have glitter pens, pen, a bunch of more markers, and then these markers, highlighter, alcohol marker, and then we have all these colors right over here. So let's start coloring. We're gonna start with this lime green shade. Let's zoom in a bit. Alright. So I. Hi, Ted. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's a nice question. Information X Factor. I don't know who's the first one who invented color pencil. Uh, okay, let's grab golden. Yeah, search if you guys know the answer to his Information X Factors question. Okay, 4 people watching. So I wanted to share an incident that happened to me. A couple of, like, when I was in school. So we're gonna name the characters. I'm not gonna take the actual name of the characters, but like the people that were included in the incident. But I'm gonna like just do a different name for them. So I was in school. It was around. I was in 4th grade, and I had like a bunch of friends, like a couple of girls in my class. So we're all sitting in the lunch break, and then there were like this group of guys that walked up to us, and they were like, you want to play Truth and Dare and stuff like that. And we were like, there were guys from our class, like there were boys that were in our class, like our classmates. So we're like, okay, let's play. So we all went to the class. It was a free period. It wasn't recess, but it was like a free period because the teacher wasn't there for the subject. So we all sat down and we started playing Truth or Dare. So we made teams. It was different. So there was a team where all the boys of the class were, and then the other team had all the girls of the class. And we were in 4th grade. So we started playing Truth or Dare. Halfway through, we were like playing, and then this teacher walked in. She was our Chinese class teacher. She walked in and she's like, I'll be taking this period, and you guys just settle down. So we're like, okay, can we like just play games since we already had the Chinese class this morning? And she was like, okay, fine, good. Anyone who wants to learn Chinese can come up to me, and people who want to play can just continue playing their games. So none of us wanted to go and learn Chinese that eagerly, so we just sat down and started playing games. Like the Truth and Dare we were already playing. So there was this one guy. I'm not gonna name him. Let's just name him Ian. Okay. So Ian was a guy, and he he asked me. So it was his turn and my turn, and he asked me, Truth or Dare? I told him, Dare. Right? So I didn't want him to go for Truth because they ask very weird questions when it comes down to Truth. So I was like, let's go for Dare. Okay, so the first pencil color was created in 1834. Wow, crazy. So Ian was like, Truth or Dare? I went Dare, and so he started thinking, started pondering on the fact what kind of dare he's gonna give me, right? 5 minutes go by. I was like, dude, if you want to really give me a dare, just give it. He was like, okay, fine, I'll give you. It's a very weird dare, but if you were able to do it, then you're like you're the best, like the legend of the class. Hi, Joy. So I was like, okay, go ahead, give me the dare. He was like, I want you to go up to the teacher and pretend like you're having some sort of allergic reaction or something. I like, okay, that's hard. Hi, masked. I was like, thank you, nerd guy. So I was like, that's really weird. I can't do that. It's a very extreme kind of dare. You can't just pull that off, right? So like, okay, let me give you another dare. So he started thinking again, and he was like, okay, now you have to go up to that. There was this one girl. Thank you, masked, and hi, Joy. So there was this one girl in the class. She was super shy. She wouldn't talk to much people, and she was new too. Like she was not shy, but she was new, and she knew like knew no one in that school. And to me, it had been like a couple of months, so I knew a bit of people. They were like, okay, you go up to that girl, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull her ponytail and run back here. So she was sitting at the other end of the class. I was like, rude. I'm not gonna do that. And he was like, it's either that or it's either truth. I was like, okay. I was like, I ain't going for truth. Why? Because, hi, Haswa. Because I knew if I went for truth, questions are gonna get weirder than I will expect them to be. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll go do it. So I went to the girl, and I pretended like I was talking to her, and I was like, yo, listen, it's a dare. I went up to her, I was like, listen, it's a dare I have to do. You just pretend you're angry, okay? Just don't go overboard with it. Just pretend you're angry with me because I pulled your ponytail. And I won't pull it that hard. Cool, I'm fine with it. So she was like, okay, cool, I'm fine with it. You can do it. So I lightly pulled her hair, and I started running back, and she started getting mad. She pretended to be mad at me. But what caught their attention was, so when I came back, I was like, you told her you were going to pull her hair. I was like, no, I didn't tell her. I was like, yeah, you told her. I was like, okay, go ahead, ask her. So they went up to her and they asked. She said no, she didn't say anything and stuff like that. She denied totally the fact that I told her that I was going to pull her hair. So then we went back to playing Truth or Dare. The recess ended, and then it was our gym class, okay? It was a gym class. We went up to the gymnasium. There, we were supposed to do taekwondo, right? So we went up there. And according to some of the rumors in the school, the floor where the gymnasium was haunted, okay? And I totally didn't believe it. I was like, okay, they're just trying to scare students or something, because gymnasium kind of had like expensive equipment and stuff. So I was like, that maybe they're just trying to thank you, Job Fuller. So they're just like trying to scare the students, right? So I was like, okay, I don't believe the fact at first. So we went up to gymnasium. The teacher wasn't there. The gym teacher wasn't there. He was a male. So he wasn't there. We all sat down. It was like a bunch of more students. It was our class and then another section of the same class, right? We all was sitting there, and then one of the students, who was the last to enter the gym, they're like, yo, there's something creepy out there. Oh, everyone was like, what? I'm like, yeah, something creepy is really creepy out there behind the barrier. I'm like, what? And then we all got curious, and then we heard that the teacher was coming in like a couple of minutes because he had like a meeting with other gym teachers, okay, of other classes. So we were like, okay, fine, chill. Let's just sit in the gym, not go outside. But the students were like, no, we're not gonna sit in here. We're gonna go check on that creepy thing. I was like, I'm not going. And my friends literally dragged me with them to just check out what was that creepy thing outside, right? So it will in the so I'm gonna explain it to you guys. If this may imagine this is the hallway, and like there on each side of the hallway were barriers, like fences separating the gymnasium from the rest of the floor, because the rest of the floor had more classes and no one was in those classes. Like it was completely empty classes in there. Nothing so special about the classes, right? Normal school. Okay, it was a very normal school. I was like, no, 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 no. We're not gonna risk it. We're not gonna go in there. We don't know what's going on. So they were like, no, we're gonna go check on it. So it was me, my friends, and a bunch of more kids who had the audacity to go check on the creepy thing. So the kid who came out, like, was the one who told us about the creepy thing. He went like, it's over there behind the fence. I saw it. It's something creepy. Oh, that's it. And just as we were about to walk behind the fence, the gym teacher showed up. He was like, "What are you all doing?" And I was like, and then I told him that he saw something. I don't know. They just dragged me out here. And he was like, "Okay, you saw what?" And he was like, "It was a very weird, creepy, the creature or something. I don't know." And the gym teacher was like, "Okay, let me go check. Let's go check it." So he dragged not the student, but the student who saw the creepy thing with him behind the fence. We all were on the other side. Okay. So we were like, what's going on? And then we heard the boy who just told us about the creepy thing scream, and he came out running. I was like, ah, and stuff like that. And the gym teacher was laughing. Why? Because it was some homeless dude living in one of those classes. Okay, they got him arrested and stuff, but not really arrested, but like the police came, investigated and stuff like that, and they found out he was a homeless dude living in our school building. And I was like, how come this dude looks like a creepy creature? And then and then the guy who told us, I'm like, no, he was in the dark. I couldn't see much. All I saw was a pair of creepy eyes staring at me. I was like, makes sense. And he was like, yeah, obviously it makes sense because like you would get scared too if you were me, okay? I was like, I was like, maybe, kind of, sort of. But it was really weird the fact that some homeless dude was living inside our school building, right? That was one incident. Same day, around the off time, like when we were supposed to go home, right? So my van, the bus that I go in, came late to the school. So I was kind of flipped off, like kind of, concerned about the fact that he didn't show up yet. Right? So then the school got a call from the driver saying that his bus broke down halfway. He's about to come. Like it will take him a couple of minutes. So all the students that got in the same bus as me, we're sitting chilling in the classroom and stuff. Okay. So we went, and then after that, we're sitting in the classroom, we're having stuff, and then one of the teachers walked in and she was like, okay, your van's here, you gotta go down there and just form a line and stuff. They're like, okay, let's form a line and go downstairs like good kids. So we went downstairs just to find out that their information was wrong. The van wasn't here, it was some other van that just showed up at the school. So I was like, okay, let's go back to the class. So it was me and one of my friends. We both were going up the stairs back to our classroom. So from our class, there were like 4 kids from the same mat, right? 2 guys, two girls, like me and my friend. So we all were going upstairs, and when we reached our class, it was a very weird scenario we saw. One of the teachers, like our subject teachers, I think she was the science or the art teacher. I don't know. I don't remember that much, but it was one of the teachers. Hello, hello, bro, devil. It was one of the teachers sitting in our classroom, and she was just sitting facing the window, and she was talking. So we maybe thought, okay, she's talking on the phone, right? Least scary thing to happen is you're talking on a phone, right? No, she wasn't talking on the phone. She was talking to herself. So maybe we were like, okay, self-awareness, nice. No. Then we walked up to her to ask, okay, if she wanted something or if she was here for one of the students in the class, right? We walked up to her, and what we saw was hell scary. Like, it was scary, scary. Okay? We walked up to her, behind her. We saw her looking out the window and talking to someone, right? So we got scared, and we walked up to her to check what was wrong, right? Just about when we reached her, we looked at the window, and we saw like a maid, like a woman in a maid uniform, right? She was in the maid uniform, and she was standing at the window, and she was looking at the teacher too, and she was like, she had wide eyes, and she was scared. And we didn't know why, because we couldn't see the teacher's face. It's okay, nickname expert, good day. So we couldn't see the teacher's face. She had her back to us. We couldn't even see her reflection in the window, right? The maid was wide-eyed. Downstairs. Hi. Hi, it's Ziggy. Okay, McLaren. I'm a huge McLaren fan, so I'd say McLaren. So we couldn't see the teacher's the teacher's face, and she was sitting wide-eyed at the maid downstairs was completely horrified with the fact that she was looking at the teacher, right? So then, when I saw Okay, so when I saw the maid, I was like, yo, I told my friend, yo, we need to get out of the class. We're not looking at this teacher's face. So she was like, no, we have to look. She's our teacher. I'm like, no, she's not our teacher. We gotta go back. And then we walked out of the classroom. We saw the same teacher walk up to us and say that, what are you guys still doing here? And we're like, so you came to tell us that our van is here. We went down, they told us, no, the van is not here. So we came back in the classroom. We were just in our classroom. And she was like, no, I never went into your classroom. I never told you your van was here. Why did you go downstairs? I was like, no. We all were like, no, you came into the class. Let us show you. And then we grabbed her hand. We took her to the classroom. And just like that, she saw herself sitting at the window of the classroom. And she was horrified. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, look. There you go. And she was like, this is not right. I was like, yeah. And I was like, good thing we didn't know it wasn't right. I was being super sarcastic at that point. I was like, yeah, of course that's not right. And then she dragged us out of the school building, and she made us sit in the ground. She dragged us out of the floor. And she went into the chat room with us. She told all the teachers about what was happening on the floor. All the teachers ran with their stuff. Me and my friend, we were holding a couple of teachers' bags and stuff because they couldn't run with their bags. So we all ran downstairs. We told the guard and the principal and the administration staff about what was on the floor happening. And then they all went to check up on that, and they were all horrified. They're like, what the is that? And after that, they banned that floor. So they completely banned the store. Classes were changed, and we were like, that was the gymnasium floor. Before, like after, like the gymnasium, we had classes next to the gymnasium. That's why that was banned, because that floor was completely haunted and stuff. It became haunted afterwards. They opened the classes just because they found the homeless men living in there. They didn't want any more homeless people coming, so they opened the classes, changed our class to the upstairs, and then they closed the gymnasium again because of the incident that happened. And me and my friends, we literally became celebrities after that. Why? Because we were the ones who witnessed what happened with the. So 1 minute, I'll be right back. So it was a very horrifying experience I had when I was in school. I'm like, what? This happens too? And then my friend was like, see, I told you it was haunted. I was like, yeah, thank you very much. She went all sarcastic on me. She was like, I told you it was haunted. You never listened to me, and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, girl, chill. Now I know it's haunted. And after that, I was like scared to go. Like inside, like in the gymnasium. I wouldn't go alone, never alone. I would always walk with like a bunch of kids around me so that I don't be the only target alone. I don't want to die alone, right? So I was like, I'm never going alone to that gymnasium floor, right? So one time it happened after that incident. So we were doing rehearsals for one of the school functions, like fundraisers coming up. My teacher, she asked me, the teacher I was rehearsing with, the dance and stuff, she asked me to, go with her to the gymnasium. Thank you, nickname expert, to the gymnasium to grab bunch of supplies they needed for the act, right? But then she got a call from the principal saying that there was a meeting for the fundraiser and they needed to, assist some stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll wait for you. She was like, no, you can't wait. We don't have that much time. You're gonna go alone. You're gonna grab the stuff and everything. I was like, how could I bring that alone? She was like, no, there's not much stuff. Just like one carton. Like it's very light. You can carry it alone. And I was like, carton? Me carrying a carton alone on a floor I just know is haunted? Never, right? So I just nodded and I walked out. And I was like, I'm gonna just get scolded for this, but I'm not going there alone. Just then I bumped into one of my classmates who was also in the act with me. Same guy, Ian, from the incident before, right? So Ian was there. I was like, yo, would you like just go up with me to the gymnasium and stuff? And he was like, why? You scared? I was like, yeah, I'm scared. I was like, you're blunt about it. I was like, yeah, I'm blunt about it because, I'm scared. I can't go in there alone. Never. After what just happened with me, never. I'm never going alone there. So he was like, okay, fine, chill. I'll go with you. And so me, Ian, and then another girl from the same act, she just happened to pass by. She overheard what happened. She offered to help. I'm like, okay, let's go. All together, a big team of 3 people, right? So we started walking up there. We grabbed the carton out of the gymnasium. The gymnasium was completely empty. There was no teacher, no live at all. Like nobody. Completely empty floor. We all were scared, like to the bottom of our hearts, scared, kind of scared. So we were all scared. Both of them were like literally looking everywhere, like just ready to attack and stuff. So just then, we came out of gym with a carton that was carried by Ian, right? He was totally being a man. He was like, Now let me handle the cards and you girls and stuff. I was like, okay, I don't mind you holding the card, and it's easier for me to run without a card than with a card, right? So we just came out. So the one, so Ian was inside grabbing the card, and then so this female classmate, she had the idea. She was like, okay, he's being super chill about everything, but I know he's scared, so we're gonna scare him. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, you wanna help? I was like, of course. To rip that smug expression off his face, definitely gonna help. So we both stood at either side of the gym door. The classic jump scare, right? We stood at either side of um the gym door, right? So we stood there, and Ian came out. We jump scared him. He didn't get scared, and then his eyes went wide, like dilated to the, I don't know, 2x or something. And I was like, "What's wrong?" It was like, "Teacher." And I was like, "Okay." I turned around, and it was the same teacher we saw at the window, right? I was like, "Shit." Right? She did look a lot like the teacher, like the face and everything and everything. I was like, and she was smiling. I was like, fuck. And she was smiling. Again, it was describing her, okay? I ran with the female classmate. I grabbed the carton from Ian. We all ran downstairs. We went to the basement where we were, rehearsing for the dance. The the floor above the basement, right? So we were rehearsing there, and I was like, "What?" And the teacher saw us running down, and we were like, and she was like, "What happened?" I was like, "We told her everything." I was like, "What is wrong on that floor? Seriously?" I was like, "Yeah," and stuff. And then the teacher we ran from, she came down, and she was like, "Why did you guys run?" I was like, "But it was you." And she's like, "Yeah, it was genuinely me that time." I was like, you're really scary for some reason. We don't even trust right now. You're you." And she's like, "No, it's me. I'm speaking. I'm a human, for goodness sake." And she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay, but what were you doing at the gym for?" She was like, "This teacher, like your teacher, like your dance rehearsal teacher, she sent me to check on you guys because it was taking me time to go down to the gym, right? What she told me was supposed to be only you, but I never knew that you three went up there." I told her, I was scared because I couldn't go alone after what just happened, you know. So I grabbed these two on my way to the gym. And you scared us. So she was like, okay, okay, chill. It's just me. And that, after since, I always check where she is. Like, even if I go to the bathroom, like like 2 years I studied in that school. So if I'm going to wash, like bathroom, like the washroom, if I'm going to another classroom, even if I'm going to the gymnasium, I always check where this teacher is, right? Let's call her Mrs. Jake, right? I always check where Mrs. Jake is, and then I go anywhere in that school because I need to know where Miss Jake is just to figure out that, okay, she's in the staff room, okay, she's in this class, like 40 minutes of her class, right? I was like, I've been ever since careful walking in that school. It was very weird, the fact that you would just witness. And she was also traumatized, but she was very chill about it because she was an adult. She knew stuff like that happens, right? We were just kids. We were like 10 or 11 or something. I'm like, what is happening? It's hell confusing, right? Ever since I got homeschooled, I haven't, like, after COVID, it happened before COVID. And then after since, I have been like homeschooled. Not because of this reason, but because of many reasons. I've been homeschooled, and I've been doing YouTube and stuff more often. Boom. Alright, so far so good. 4 people watching. Hi. Hi, you guys. Alright, let's just complete this castle. So comment if you want me to narrate a bunch of more my school incident that happened with me. Well, like I have like a bunch of them, and this was one of them. Oh damn! Right. Let's grab this. Ow. Okay. Start coloring. Okay. Only one person watching the live. Oh my god. Okay. So someone said I had a cowboy accent. Hasba. Wow, seriously? I sound like a cowboy? That's weird. Okay, here we go. Let's grab the yellow color. Okay, there we go. We're done with these two. And now we're left with a bunch of more fascinating castle. Okay. So let's do it. And then grab the green. I'm gonna highlight this. It's kind of going for dark, ancient kind of look. So I was always been into these kind of things. Okay, let's just ancient castles and ancient stuff. That's why I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. And Jumanji I've watched. What was that, Jurassic Park? A lot of old movies like Nanny McPhee. Yeah, Nanny McPhee. Matilda. I watched. What else have I watched? Stuart Little, Baby's Day Out, Home Alone. I watched Matilda. It was Arthur and the Minimoys. Yep, definitely Arthur and the Minimoys. Honestly, one of my favorites. It's like an ancient kind of. It's full of ancient stuff, like adventurous ancient stuff. So I'm kind of into that too. Alright, here we go. Now we're gonna Just a young gun with a clear fuse. I was real tired, wanna live loose. I was dreaming of bigger things, but wanna leave my own life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower, but the fuck for the most they can see as a whole. Oh hi, 3 people watching. So comment if you guys want me to narrate one of my school incidents that I just narrated. Like, if you want me to narrate some more. Alright. And there we go, there we go, there we go. We're almost done, we're almost done, we're almost done, we're almost done. There we go. 4 people, hi! Okay, there we go. Looks kind of a bit off color. So I gotta, you know. Okay, let me just, here's the black color. Let's sharp it. Alright. There we go. Let's grab the erasers. I just got an idea. A crazy one though. Oh damn. I just threw my sharpener away. Alright, there we go. Sounds, looks so much more better than before. Right. Let's grab my sharpener. Thanks. Thanks, Ruffler. No, it's not really Faber-Castell. It's another brand. But looks just like Faber-Castell. Oh, if you're asking me, the castle that I drew is inspired by Faber-Castell, then no. Information X Factor. I just can't believe it'd been 44 minutes and I just completed this. I'm gonna kind of go on a break because my hands are sore. It's a huge drawing. I'll be back in 10 minutes. See you guys in the next live. Bye.